If you think April 15 is the only IRS deadline that matters in 2026, you're already putting your money at risk. Subscribe to the channel now because understanding the IRS tax calendar is one of the smartest ways to avoid penalties before tax season even begins. Every year, millions of taxpayers focus only on filing their return, and that's exactly where mistakes start. The IRS system doesn't work around one single date. It works around a full calendar made of filing deadlines, payment deadlines, reporting deadlines, and extension rules. Missing even one of them can trigger penalties, interest, or delays that cost real money. The 2026 tax season is especially important because it covers income earned in 2025, and it affects retirees, employees, self-employed workers, gig workers, investors, and business owners. Estimated taxes, W-2s, 1099s, business returns, payroll filings, extensions, these are not optional details. They are part of how the IRS enforces compliance. In this video, I walk you through the complete IRS 2026 tax calendar in a clear, structured way. We'll look at when the IRS usually opens filing season, the real meaning of tax day, what happens if you file an extension, and why extensions do not give you more time to pay. We'll also cover estimated tax deadlines, employer reporting requirements, and business filing dates that many people overlook. This is not a video about tricks or shortcuts. It's about understanding how the system actually works, so you can plan instead of reacting at the last minute. When you know the calendar in advance, you control your cash flow, reduce stress, and avoid unnecessary problems with the IRS. This video is designed to be saved and revisited during the year. Think of it as your reference guide to the IRS timeline for 2026. If clarity matters to you more than hype, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's be honest. Tax deadlines can be a huge source of stress, no matter if you're an employee, a freelancer, or running your own business. So today, we're going to clear all that up. Think of this as your official map, an authoritative guide to every single key IRS deadline for the 2025 tax year, all laid out for 2026. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big picture. Then we'll dive deep into the specific dates for individuals and for businesses. We'll also cover the super important rules for extensions, what it actually costs you to be late, and we'll wrap it all up with a simple action plan to keep you on track. All right, first things first. Let's get our bearings. We're going to take a look at the entire year from a 30,000-foot view. This way you can see all the key milestones at a glance before we get into the nitty-gritty. This timeline really lays out the rhythm of the year. You can see it all starts in January with that final 2025 estimated payment, and it runs all the way through October to that final extension deadline. Just think of these as the essential checkpoints for your entire financial year. Okay, now let's get specific. We're going to focus on the dates that matter most to individual taxpayers. So whether you're working a 9-to-5, doing gig work, or you're retired, these are the deadlines you absolutely need to watch. There's one date that pretty much everyone knows, right? The one that gets circled on calendars all across the country. But here's a question for you. Do you know everything that's actually due on that day? Because it's probably a lot more than you think. You got it. It's tax day. And in 2026, it lands on Wednesday, April 15th. For most Americans, this date is the absolute central pillar of the entire tax season. So here's the crucial point. April 15th is like a quadruple header. It's not just the day to file your 2025 return. It's also the deadline to pay what you owe, the deadline to ask for an extension. And this is the one that trips people up. It's the deadline to make your first estimated tax payment for the new tax year, 2026. Now, if self-employed, a freelancer, or you have any kind of income where taxes aren't automatically withheld, This quarterly rhythm is completely non-negotiable. Our tax system is pay-as-you-go, and this schedule is how you stay on the right side of the IRS and avoid some nasty penalties. Okay, let's switch gears. For employers and businesses, the calendar gets a little more complex. If you're the one managing payroll or dealing with corporate finances, there's a whole other set of deadlines that comes into play for employers. One of the first and most important deadlines hits right at the beginning of February. And quick note, because January 31st falls on a weekend in 2026, the deadline actually gets pushed to the next business day. This is the day. It's when you have to get those critical wage and income statements out the door. Your W-2s have to be in your employees' hands, and your 1099s have to go to your contractors. And at the same time, you're filing copies with the Social Security Administration. Hitting this deadline is vital so everyone else can file their taxes on time. This slide highlights something really important. Not all businesses file on the same day. You see, partnerships and S-corps, what are called pass-through entities, are actually due a month earlier on March 15th. And there's a good reason for that. It's so the partners and shareholders can get their tax documents in time to file their own personal returns by the April 15th deadline. That's when the core corps file. Look, life happens, right? Sometimes getting everything together by that filing deadline just isn't in the cards. So, what do you do if you know you're not going to make it? Well, the IRS has a process for that. The IRS offers what's called an automatic 6-month extension to file all your paperwork. But, and this is a big but, there is a very common and potentially very expensive misunderstanding about what an extension actually does for you. And here it is. This is the single most important thing to know about extensions. It is an extension of time to file. It is not, I repeat, not an extension of time to pay. Your tax payment is still due on April 15th, no matter what. You have to burn that distinction into your brain. So that brings us to a crucial topic, the financial consequences. Missing these deadlines isn't just about getting a notice in the mail from the IRS. It comes with a real, tangible cost. And you don't have to take my word for it. The IRS itself makes it perfectly clear. Staying on top of these dates is the absolute best way to avoid necessary charges. So, let's break down what those charges actually are. First up is the failure to file penalty. And you really need to pay attention here because this one is steep. It's 5% of your unpaid tax bill for each month that you're late. And it can go all the way up to a massive 25% of what you owe. This is exactly why filing an extension is always a smart move, even if you can't pay. Then you've got the failure to pay penalty. This one's much smaller at just 0.5% per month. But notice the huge difference. The penalty for not filing is 10 times higher than the penalty for not paying. It's a clear signal from the IRS. They want your paperwork on time, even if the money comes in a little later. And here's where it can really start to snowball. The IRS charges interest not just on the original tax you didn't pay, but on the penalties too. It's a cycle that can make a pretty small tax debt grow into a much bigger problem over time. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, from all the key dates to some pretty costly penalties. So, let's pull it all together into a clear, actionable plan for a stress-free tax season. Here are the 4 things to remember that will make a world of difference. Number 1, mark your calendar. April 15th is for filing and paying. Number 2, plan for your quarterlies. If you're self-employed, you have to budget for those payments. 3, understand extensions. Remember that golden rule. File for more time, but always pay on time. And finally, maybe the best advice of all, organize early. Don't wait until the last minute to gather your documents. When it comes to taxes, being proactive is always the best strategy. So now that you've seen the map for the year ahead, what's the one step you can take today to prepare? Maybe it's setting calendar reminders or just creating a folder for your receipts. What can you do right now to make tax season in 2026 your smoothest one yet? Understanding the IRS tax calendar is not about memorizing dates. It's about reducing risk and protecting your financial stability. Most IRS penalties don't come from complex tax strategies or aggressive planning. They come from missed deadlines. When you know exactly when returns must be filed, when taxes must be paid, and when forms must be submitted, you remove uncertainty from the process. You stop reacting to IRS notices and start planning ahead. That shift alone can save hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. One of the biggest misconceptions is that filing an extension solves everything. It doesn't. An extension only gives you more time to file paperwork. It does not delay payment. Interest and penalties start accumulating the moment a payment deadline is missed. That's why understanding the calendar matters more than understanding deductions. Estimated taxes are another area where many taxpayers get caught off guard. Self-employed workers, retirees with investment income, and gig workers often underestimate how strict these deadlines are. Missing estimated payments can trigger underpayment penalties even if you eventually file a correct return. The same applies to employers and businesses. W-2s, 1099s, payroll filings, partnership returns, and corporate filings all follow fixed schedules. These deadlines exist regardless of cash flow, staffing issues, or administrative delays. The IRS calendar is not flexible, but it is predictable. And predictability is power. When you align your planning with the IRS timeline, you reduce stress, avoid surprises, and make better financial decisions. My advice is simple. Save this video, come back to it during the year, and treat the IRS calendar like a checklist. Most tax problems are preventable, and prevention starts with knowing when things are due. If this video helped you understand the system more clearly, support the channel by subscribing and sharing it. The goal here is not to scare anyone, but to give you clarity, structure, and control when it comes to taxes.
Hello there. Are you currently navigating the complexities of retirement, or perhaps rapidly approaching that significant life milestone? The Retiree's Handbook is your dedicated YouTube guide for all retirement and pension news right here in the United States. It's crucial to stay informed about your financial future. We cover understanding pension benefits and maximizing your Social Security, ensuring you have the knowledge you need. Our channel provides actionable financial tips for retirees, helping you confidently make the most of your golden years. Don't miss vital information that impacts your peace of mind. Join our growing community today. Thank you for watching. Your financial security and retirement is incredibly important, and we're here to help you every step. Please subscribe to the Retiree's Handbook channel to never miss our latest updates and valuable insights. Join our community for continuous support, future pension news, and helpful resources to empower your retirement journey.